Your person is going through a deep and transformative phase in their life. They're finally awakening to the harsh reality that not everyone who appeared close truly had their best interests at heart. One by one, they are removing all the toxic relationships and manipulative people who have been using them for their own gain. For so long, they trusted individuals who didn't deserve even a fraction of that trust, people who played roles of friends, lovers, and even family, but who were, in truth, draining their spirit and steering them away from their true path. Now, as the fog clears, they're seeing these individuals for who they really are, backstabbers cloaked in affection and false loyalty. The same people they believed would stand by them in difficult times turned out to be the ones silently rooting for their downfall or taking advantage of their vulnerability. This realization is painful, but it's also liberating. It's a long overdue awakening to the fact that they had been giving too much of themselves to those who only showed up when they needed something. In this process of reflection and reckoning, your person is also coming to terms with the way they treated you. As they look back, they realize that you were the one constant in their life, the one who never asked for anything in return, who showed love, loyalty, and support without conditions. And yet, they overlooked you. While trying to please everyone else, they neglected the one person who truly mattered. They pushed you aside, perhaps even hurt you, while chasing validation from people who never truly cared. Now, the weight of that realization is sinking in deeply. Your person is filled with remorse and guilt for all the times they failed to give you the time, attention, and affection you deserved. They see now how unfair it was that you were always there, patient, loving, consistent, while they were lost in the chaos created by others. They understand that they not only neglected you, but in doing so, they also betrayed the pure connection you both shared. It feels to them now as if the universe is teaching them a painful lesson. They believe they're being punished for the way they treated you, for turning their back on a soul so genuine, so kind. There's a deep sense of regret within them, not only for losing you but for not realizing your worth sooner. They've come to see that in trying to make everyone else happy, they sacrificed their own joy and pushed away the one person who actually brought peace into their life, you. No longer are they willing to be a prisoner to manipulation and emotional chaos. They're choosing themselves now, but more importantly, they're choosing truth, clarity, and authenticity. In that clarity, your face keeps appearing. Your presence, once taken for granted, now feels like a beacon of love they desperately long to return to. They're tired of the distance, tired of running from their own emotions and pretending like they don't care. They do care. They always did, but they were too lost, too clouded, to see it clearly. Now, they want to come back, not with empty promises or casual words, but with a deep, unwavering commitment. They know that you've waited for a long time, hoping, perhaps silently, that one day they would return, changed and ready. And that day is here. They are done pretending that life is better without you. It's not. They are done running away from the emotions that tie them to you. They are ready to take responsibility, to make amends, and to give you the love and loyalty you have always deserved. This journey has been painful for them, but it's also been necessary. Without it, they would have never truly understood your value. They needed to see the truth about others to finally see the truth about you. You were never the problem. You were the blessing they were too blind to recognize. But now, with new eyes and a humbled heart, they want to start again. They want to rebuild, to heal, and to honor the bond that once existed between you, this time with honesty, dedication, and love. They know it won't be easy to regain your trust. They don't expect instant forgiveness or a fairy tale reunion. But they're willing to do the work. They're willing to show up every day, proving through actions rather than words that they've changed. that they finally see you, not as a fallback or a second choice, but as the one who stood by them when no one else did. They are coming back, not as the same person who left, but as someone who has learned, grown, and is now ready to love you the way you always deserved. Your person has spent a lot of time reflecting on their past, on the choices they made, the things they said, and most importantly, the mistakes that drove a wedge between you. Through it all, they've come to understand just how much they've grown. Life has not been easy, and neither has this journey with you, but every challenge, every difficult moment, and every loss has been a lesson. These experiences, though painful at times, have shaped them into someone more grounded, more self-aware, and undeniably more mature. They've learned that growth doesn't come from comfort, it comes from the moments that shake you, the ones that make you question yourself, and the ones that leave you with no choice but to change. And change is exactly what they've committed to. They are no longer the same person who made those mistakes. They've had to sit with their own pain, the regret of their actions, and the knowledge that they hurt someone they deeply care about. But instead of running from that truth, they've allowed it to humble them, to guide them, and to push them toward becoming someone better. They are fully aware that your guard is up now. They can sense your caution, your hesitation, and your reluctance to let them back into your heart. And they don't blame you for it. In fact, they understand it completely. When trust is broken, it leaves behind scars, ones that don't heal overnight. They know that words alone can't fix what's been damaged. They know you've heard apologies before, and that promises don't hold the same weight they once did. That's why this time, they are determined to show you with their actions. They don't want to convince you, they want to earn your trust again, slowly, patiently, and with the consistency you deserve. They recognize the pain they caused and the consequences of their behavior. They're not expecting things to go back to how they used to be right away. What they're asking for is a chance, a real, honest chance to show you that the person standing before you now is different. Not perfect, but changed. Not flawless, but willing. They are no longer trying to be the person you once loved, they are working to be the person who is worthy of your love now. Your person longs to be close to you again. Not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. They miss the way things felt when the connection between you was strong and full of trust. They miss your presence, your energy, your laughter, and even the quiet moments shared in comfort. They're not asking you to forget what happened or to pretend the past never existed. They're asking you to allow the possibility of a new beginning, one built not on broken foundations, but on understanding, healing, and genuine effort. They want time alone with you, not just to talk things through, but to reconnect. They want to listen to you, understand you better, and support you in a way they might not have before. They want to make space for your emotions, your fears, and your needs. They don't want to rush anything or pressure you into forgiveness. They're prepared to wait days, weeks, or even longer, if that's what it takes for you to feel ready. They're not measuring progress by how fast you come back, but by how deeply they can show up for you this time. They understand that rebuilding trust isn't a destination, it's a process. And they're committed to walking that path with you, step by step. There may be setbacks, doubts, or hard conversations ahead, but they're not afraid of them anymore. They know that the love they feel for you is worth every ounce of patience, every difficult moment, and every effort needed to make things right. In their heart, they believe that the bond you share is still alive, that under the pain and the silence, something meaningful still remains. They're holding on to hope, not because they're naive, but because they know what it feels like to lose you, and they don't want to let that happen again. They're ready to show up differently, to love more deeply, and to honor what you both once had, while creating something even stronger and more resilient in the future. All they ask now is for you to consider the possibility of opening the door again, even just a little. Let them show you, not with promises, but with presence. Let them prove that people can change, not just for themselves, but for the ones they truly love. And know that no matter how long it takes, they are willing to wait. Because to them, you're worth it. I've spent a lot of time reflecting on what we had, and with every passing thought, a deep sense of regret weighs heavily on my heart. I now realize how much I failed to truly value the love you so selflessly and unconditionally gave to me. You offered your heart so openly, without ever expecting anything in return, not even acknowledgement, not even gratitude. It was a kind of love that was rare, pure, and beautiful, yet I didn't treat it with the reverence it deserved. I took your affection, your loyalty, and your unwavering presence for granted, blinded by my own ego and misconceptions. Somewhere along the way, I convinced myself that you needed me more than I needed you. That illusion gave me a false sense of control, a dangerous belief that no matter how I acted or how emotionally distant I became, you would never leave. I thought I had become such an integral part of your world that you would stay, no matter the cost. I let that thought justify my complacency and my growing lack of appreciation. I stopped nurturing what we had, assuming it would always be there. I failed to realize that just because someone loves you deeply doesn't mean they'll tolerate being taken for granted indefinitely. I understand now how wrong I was to underestimate your strength, your self-respect, and your sense of worth. You are not someone who clings to what no longer serves your soul. You are not someone who begs for love, for attention, or for basic emotional presence. You are a woman who knows when she's being undervalued, and more importantly, you have the courage to walk away from anyone who can't see your worth, even if you once loved them deeply. That kind of strength, that kind of self-awareness, is something I admire in you now more than ever, and I see it clearly in your decision to walk away when I gave you reasons to. At the time, I didn't see the damage I was causing. I didn't realize how my emotional absence, my lack of gratitude, and my selfish behavior were hurting you. I see it now, and it breaks me. I now understand that I may never find someone quite like you again. You were not just loving, you were patient, kind, nurturing, and deeply genuine. You had a maturity about you that grounded me, that balanced my chaos. You were honest even when it was difficult, and you always stood by your values. You offered love that was rooted in truth, not in conditions or expectations. Looking back, I see how rare that kind of love was, and I feel the weight of losing it due to my own carelessness. I let fear, pride, and ego get in the way of simply being present with someone who was willing to give me everything without asking for anything in return. That kind of love doesn't come around often, and I was foolish to treat it as though it would never leave. What hurts the most is knowing that I made you feel unappreciated, unseen, and alone in a relationship where you gave your all. For that, I am truly sorry. I know apologies can't erase the pain, and words may not be enough, but please know they come from a place of deep realization and remorse. Thank you, for loving me when I didn't know how to love myself, for being patient when I didn't deserve it, and for walking away when I needed to wake up. Your departure was a painful but necessary mirror, one that forced me to confront myself and the parts of me I was avoiding. In your absence, I've had to face my own shadows, the insecurities, the emotional immaturity, the fear of vulnerability. I took a step back from us, not because I didn't love you, but because I needed to understand why I was hurting someone I loved. I needed to do the inner work, to stop projecting my fears onto you, and to learn how to show up in a relationship with presence, humility, and emotional integrity. Please don't mistake my distance for rejection. It was never that. It was me trying to find my truth, to heal the parts of myself that were sabotaging the most beautiful thing I ever had. I understand if it's too late now, and I won't ask anything from you, not forgiveness, not another chance. I only hope that one day, when you look back on us, you'll remember that beneath the flaws and the mistakes, there was someone who truly loved you, even if he didn't always know how to show it the right way. Thank you for teaching me what real love looks like, and for reminding me that it's not something to be taken lightly. Wherever life takes you, I hope it leads you to the peace, joy, and love you always deserved.